Hello, and welcome back to Pokemon Y. In this part, we're going to be making our way towards Coumarin City, but I've done a bit more team switching. So here is my Metang. This was the gift one that was given away around the time of Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire.
Yes, it was at the beginning, along with Munchlax, I believe.
Nice, yeah. Was that a shiny Munchlax or just a regular one?
Oh no, Munchlax was Sun and Moon because of the Z crystal.
Oh right, what does that do?
That was the pulverizing pancake that Snorlax has.
Oh right, yeah. But yeah, to start us off, after showing off my shiny Metang, here's also my Pikachu evolved into Raichu.
Nice.
Another mainstay team member, because fuck yeah, Raichu. Like, he's probably my favourite electric type to use, honestly. Because, I don't know what it is, it's just... Maybe it's because they're so easy to get hold of a Pikachu in both this and Gen 1. And so, like, it's practical, it's nearby. Yeah. And the other one I can think of that I tend to get some use out of is in Gen 3, I like to have Manectric sometimes. What about you guys? You got a favourite electric type, Chris?
What's Manectric?
Manetric's the evolved electric one, the one that's
Dog.
sort of lion, dog sort of thing.
Oh, yeah. It's the ones that don't get paralysed, but you know, it's like what's the UFO one?
Magnezone. Yes. I fucking love Magnezone. Like, out of all the extra Gen 4 evolutions, he's one that I really like. He's just a fucking spaceship, isn't he?
Yeah. It's like, it is the one that looks like an evolution out of those.
Yeah, it's such a cooler evolution than Magneton as well, isn't it? It's like, takes what was a really lazy evolution and just turns it into something actually cool.
I feel that one worked though, because that was like the first one to just do more of the Pokemon.
Well, there was also Dugtrio, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And the bird with the heads.
Well, to be fair, that goes from a
Dugtrio.
two-headed bird to a three-headed
Yeah,
bird,
okay.
so it's a little bit different. I'll let Dugtrio off, but like Dugtrio and Magneton are a bit lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Dugtrio, but I also don't like Dugtrio because of that reason, because it's such a confusing form.
Yeah,
It's not really an evolution.
I prefer a lowland Dugtrio with the glam metal hair.
That's
Oh,
so crap.
Yeah, but it's great.
Oh,
like, you know what it is? It's handsome. You know, it is fucking handsome. You're gonna say that bopping along to Umbop at some point. It's just got the fucking look, hasn't it?
For me, an electric type that always pops to mind for me is Electivire.
I was gonna bring him up actually. Yeah, he's another cool one. Like, Electabuzzing himself, he was already a kind of cool design. And Elekid that they brought in Gen 2 was also one of the cooler baby Pokemon. And then Electivire just kind of rounds off the line, doesn't
Yeah.
it? It's just a really fucking cool Pokemon.
It's weird how it's got two tails, but
Yeah, like, to be fair, that's if it can sort of mount itself, you know, like, so it doesn't, you know, blow up when it's trying to charge shit up or whatever.
so what I liked in the anime with Paul's Electivire was during one of its battles. I don't know how it possibly works in any way, but it dug its tails into the ground and then it let off, I think it was Thunderbolt or Thunder, and basically lightning just starts ripping apart the ground in front of it and shooting up.
Creative artistic
It
license in
looks
anime.
good, but it's like, that wouldn't work.
Yeah, I do think it's odd how they took that one opportunity to defy the game's logic, didn't they?
That one!
Yeah, that one time that they disobeyed the rules
Yes.
that the Pokemon games established.
I mean, the many times I've aimed for the horn in the games, it's... Or times when I've made my Infernape dig underground, use Flare Blitz to eradicate all of the toxic spikes on the field.
At that time when my Pokemon fell asleep and that was written out of the game for some reason. What was that happened
Was
to?
it Primate?
No, I think it was in the Kanto League, where I think it might have been Richie's Butterfree. At some point, I can't remember. Like it fell asleep and then they just counted it as a loss.
What?
Yeah, like, it's just so fucking weird. like that was the first example of Ash getting cheated out of the league, wasn't it? Because like that was where they just thought, well, let's have Charizard decide that he's going to be a bit of a bitch through the league. Well, to be fair, that was Ash's fault for using Charizard when he knew that it didn't obey it. Yeah, like, out of all the anime league arcs, which one do you think's been handled the best of?
Probably Gen 4 for me. I really liked how that turned out. I mean, granted, he ends up going up against someone who's got legendaries.
See, that was my point of contention with that, because like it was so poorly paced. That was like the tail end of Gen 4's problem in general in the anime, in the fact that like they had a whole year between the 7th and 8th gym badges, like literally 52 episodes, and then they run out of time for the league, and you can't think maybe you could have like paced that a little bit better. Rather than have it like, we've run out of time and we need to rush the league. What can we do? Oh yeah, the guy's got a fucking Darkrai.
Yeah, but to be fair, the battles in the league are really good. They're really enjoyable.
There was it was satisfying seeing like Pikachu take out the Latios and shit.
It's like that battle, the battle against Paul coming to a close. So even Barry's fight against Paul was enjoyable.
I can't actually remember how that one went down, honestly.
So I remember parts of it. There was he used Hitmonlee against Paul's Ursaring.
Oh,
and he did fairly well for a while, but Ursaring just bodied it eventually. Because I think it was using a high jump kick that ended up being part of its downfall.
Well, that move in itself is a gamble, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say my favourite one that I recall is probably the Silver Conference, like from Johto. Because that, I just seem to remember that having some cool battles, and like it was kind of the resolution of Ash and Gary's rivalry, wasn't it? Which that was pretty cool. Although that was another one where there was the random character, except they just had a Blaziken, which, that's something. It's still a fair Pokemon to have rather than a fucking legendary.
It's like the X and Y finals is okay. I mean, you get the amazing battle of Sceptile versus Greninja, but I'm still extremely disappointed in Charizard X versus Charizard Y. That is just such a disappointment.
I never saw that. Or was it rushed or something?
It's not worth watching at all. It lasts about a couple of minutes.
No.
And not the fun kind of couple of minutes. It's like they throw a couple of flamethrowers at each other, then they Mega Evolve, flamethrowers again, Charizard Y flies up into the air, and then Charizard X fires a Fire Blast at it, knocks it out in one hit. It's flipping Fire Blast for a Pokemon that's got worse special attack than Charizard Y.
Oh, God.
And I think Charizard Y probably has some slight increase in its special defense. It's just... it's so terrible.
Stephen is mad at anime, it's fine.
It deserved so much better. These two Charizards that are Mega Evolved.
Right, alright, let's lay it on the line then. Favourite battles from the anime that you can remember? Chris, you got any, mate?
I would say that Mewtwo versus Charizard X and the Greninja. What's it called?
Yeah, Mega Greninja. No, not Mega
Sceptile.
Mega
battle.
Sceptile, yeah.
Yeah, no, probably.
Yeah, I do kind of like what they did with the whole, what I'm getting at is I remember you showing me the video of the Greninja and Mega Sceptile one. I really didn't watch much of the XY series, like I said. I think ones that stick out to me from just the history of the anime is I quite liked Pikachu versus Regice. That battle started out quite disappointing with Charizard being taken out really quickly and that. But when it got down to the last round of Pikachu versus Regice, I remember that being quite a fun fight. Oh, so
there's Charizard versus Articuno.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool. I can't remember much of it, but I do I like seeing Ash's Pokemon take out legendaries.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that trend.
It's like this was a it was a good way of displaying one of them taking out a legendary, considering the type advantage.
I do seem to remember that being the fight where there was that animation error for a few moments where they gave Charizard an extra wing.
Really?
Yeah, I seem to recall it adding extra one on its back or something. From...
This was pre-Mega Evolution.
No, what it is like each time you Mega Evolve it, it grows another wing off its back.
This is what's known as Ash Charizard.
No, that'd just be Charizard wearing Ash's hat. That'd be fun. Imagine Charizard, but like with that like face scratching thing that Ash has got going on. That'd be fucking something.
Ash Greninja's design, it's alright. It's decent enough. And I like the old water shuriken on his back.
I still don't really get that. Like,
Yeah.
what was the story context of that?
I don't know, it's just sort of battle ready, that's it. It's
Ah.
like, there's a water shuriken. Done.
But yeah, Greninja is a fucking cool Pokemon as it
yeah.
is. Like, I don't know, like that might actually be my favourite of the Kalos ones. Like, I didn't pick it here because I knew I'd be getting the Squirtle, but like, it's design-wise.
It's definitely the best of the three. Both design-wise and practicality.
Like, it's maybe knocked down a notch when you start to wonder about that tongue thing around its neck.
Yeah.
So, like, that was the one that got into Smash. What do you reckon about the current rumours of Incineroar possibly being in Smash?
I'm not keen on Incineroar.
You what?
I've never been mad on Incineroar. Mostly because its design is too reminiscent of a fighting type. I mean, yes, it's a dark type and I'm happy about that, but it's like, it looks so much like a fighting type. I think the design could have been far better.
It's a wrestling cat.
If it was walking around on all fours like an actual tiger, I reckon I would have liked it a lot more. I think it should have been more reminiscent of a tiger than just a big wrestling cat.
Are you saying that Tony isn't a real tiger?
Shut up.
Look,
I was trying to think of what Pokemon you're going on about. You know, as you said Tony, I was like, oh right, okay.
Yeah.
I like that as the fucking prompt.
It is anime Tony the Tiger.
Yeah, but how can you not like that? Especially like his fucking specialised Z power move, where he's like on the wrestling ring and he does the fucking body slam down. That is so fucking cool.
That is good. Plus, I do like the belt. The belt of fire.
Oh yeah.
Although it does look kind of weird when it's shooting fire moves and all that out of its crotch, but
that's another reason why it's cool. But like that Z move, imagine that as a final smash. That would be the hypest shit. Like Darkest Lariat, isn't it? Like,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking love that attack. Just the animation of him, just like doing his like moves on the wrestling ring and shit. Like that on the fucking Punch Out arena in Smash, that'd be cool.
Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that in the Punch Out arena. It'd be very fitting.
I think, would there be any areas from Sun and Moon that would make for good stages? Because like none of the areas are really that memorable. It's like we've got Lumio City from Pokemon, and I think there's is it the Univer Pokemon League that they have as a stage?
You might be able to do the Ultra Megapolis place.
Oh yeah, I suppose so. Like,
That'd be an interesting area. It's
might,
inside an Ultra Wormhole, so
I suppose like it is a bit generic, like future fantasy kind of thing though. I don't know whether it'd be like the most unique area they could pick.
yeah. But then again, you could be like travelling through the Ultra Wormhole, have like Sogalia or Lunala pass by every once in a while. You get glimpses of the other places that the Ultra Wormhole takes you to.
Yeah, well, what I could do, like, especially tying in, given they've got that gimmick, you know, where the stages can transform and that, going off that kind of idea, you could have, like, the shots of the wormholes and that, and you could see some of the other stages from the game, like, just visible through it. That'd be kind of a cool way to, like, tie it in, I guess.
In the background, just have a wormhole open up and then a Buzzwole comes flying through.
That's the ugly fucker, right?
Yeah, just big, swole bug.
I don't really like the designs of any of the Ultra Beasts, if I'm being honest.
I like Celesteela. Is Celesteela? I think it's Celesteal.
What's that one that's just like the big form?
Stack Attacker, I think.
That sounds something like it. That thing it's a big
I
form.
feel like I'm really wrong about that, but it also sounds right.
Yeah, I can't even remember them. Like, they're so for what are meant to be like an interesting lore Pokemon. They're all so fucking boring, aren't they? Like,
Poiple's evolution is interesting.
see, I remember Poiple. I can't remember what its evolution's
I
like.
feel bad because its evolution looks great. It's a poison dragon and it's really strong.
Alright, that's an interesting type
And
combination.
because of the Ultra Beasts having their Beast Boost ability, when it takes out an opponent, its strongest stat then increases. So its special attack just keeps getting higher and higher with every win. And that is dangerous.
Oh shit, I can imagine, yeah.
It's like the only thing I don't like about the way it evolves is that it needs Dragon Pulse to evolve. But it only gets that either through the TM or it's like a level 1 move. But you don't get a level 1 Poipole.
Well, that's what the whole move tutor's for.
Yeah, but it's irritating because it's like you'd be wondering how does this thing get stronger and you wouldn't know.
Can they breed?
I don't think so. They're Ultra Beasts, so...
Yeah, well, I didn't know whether they can or not. Can any of them breed?
Nah, I mean, I'd assume they could, it's just that you can't make them breed, so... like with legendaries, so...
Yeah, which it's kind of weird. It makes you wonder how their species is maintained.
Yeah.
Like, do they like clone them every now and then or something?
Mewtwo would like to have words with you.
Yeah, fucking like Mewtwo, the first Smash clone, wasn't it?
It depends on whether you believe Mewtwo is actually a clone or not.
Stephen, Mewtwo is a clone of Mew.
Yep, but that's dependent on like how you interpret certain things. Because, like, yes, the anime definitely interprets this as a clone, but in the games, it's sort of iffy about the details. It either suggests that it is a clone or it is a baby Mew that has been experimented on.
Well, it's genetically engineered from Mew. We know that much from like the books that are left around the Pokemon mainstream.
Yeah, but it also, at times, in one of the entries, I think I've been over this before, but in the entries it does say Mew has given birth to a new Pokemon. We are going to call this one Mewtwo.
Well, that could just be an expression, couldn't it?
It could be, but as I said, it depends on how you interpret it.
So, like, depending on whether you want to think about the possibility that somehow a tiny little Mew has birthed fucking...
Well, I feel it's more the fact like, oh, this Mew's been born, we've now got a spare, let's experiment on it.
I don't think Mew can do the Ditto thing with Transform, though, can it? Like, be bred as anything, so...
Yeah.
Although it would make it interesting if it could.
I would have thought Mews could breed, considering they were the first Pokemon.
Well, it's kind of like the original concept for an Origin Pokemon, isn't it?
It is essentially the ancestor.
Yeah, which they kind of confused that a bit more when we had like the creationist Pokemon with Arceus.
Well, it could have been like Arceus created everything, and then Mew was the starting point.
Maybe. Like, we're thinking deep into the lore here that we don't know. And then that was when Arceus married Mew, because you can marry Pokemon, can't you?
They're both Pokemon, so that would count.
But are they the same egg group?
Probably, yeah. I mean, Arceus and Mew could be whatever they wanted, especially Arceus.
Oh, God.
I see that Charizard has a certain item on it.
Yes, it does. And I will say I will be showing off both versions of Mega Charizard throughout this playthrough. Throughout the main game, I'll be showing off the X one because that's my favourite, but we will see some of Mega Charizard Y in the post-game, just for the sake of a bit of variety and whatnot.
So I will have comments on their designs, both good and points that you won't want to listen to, but...
Well, that's fine. I can always correct you if you're wrong, but I believe we'll actually be seeing a bit of Mega Charizard X in the next part, come to mention it, so it shouldn't take too long to see some cool shit coming in. But this is Coumarin City, and Coumarin City's kind of design is based around them having this monorail, because, you know, making it convenient to walk from one part of the city to the other, that's too much. No, you gotta have this monorail. Mono.
No, we're not going there.
Oh, I want to. This is the part where I'm killing time because we've got a minute left. I don't know if you've noticed that. In the next part, we will be seeing the next gym, and it will be a quite long one because, as you noticed, when we got that Hollow Caster, I've been very careful there. Call from Callum, he wanted a rematch as well, so there'll be a fight against him as well in the next one.
I really don't like how he's called Mr. Bonding and he just gave you befriending level 1.
Yeah, I've never actually used the O powers for anything.
I mean, the most useful ones would likely be catching and egg hatching.
So how do they actually work if I've never used them? Explain to me, Stephen.
I think it just like halves the amount of time that it takes to hatch an egg or boosts the catch rate.
So just little buffs and whatnot.
I mean, the catch rate is certainly extremely useful. Because, like, imagine that you don't have many Pokeballs. I can't imagine why, but imagine you've just got Pokeballs and you're up against a legendary like Zygarde. Start flinging them, they're not working, but then you use the O power and suddenly you're above probably an Ultra Ball.
Just pray, throw and pray, throw and pray. You'll get it eventually.
Just keep mashing that B button.